All right, and welcome to the IWM broadcast of the iNASCAR Racing Series. Welcome. I am Rick Souza. Jeff Nini is here, but he's got some technical difficulties. Bear with us. We're all over the
I
country right now.
I can hear you right now. I can't see you, but I can hear you.
Okay. Well, Jeff, appreciate you here. We are currently right now. There's still practice going on. We got about 4 minutes left of practice before we go into qualifying here tonight. We are at Talladega for the Jack Links 250 here with the iNRS Racing Series.
Yeah, any of the folks that have been watching us and happen to see the Daytona race, this is going to be kind of a replay of that, only just a tad longer and really considerably wider. They'll be running 3 wide most of the evening tonight. And again, a drafting track, a track where you're going to try to tuck up behind somebody or have somebody tuck up behind you, and everybody needs friends tonight, Rick.
Absolutely. That will be the story of tonight's event here. And bear with us here. Again, as I said earlier, we're doing this from the remote truck. So we hope to keep a good broadcast going with you, and you can hear all of us, and we can keep up with you.
Should be a all right, so tonight.
Absolutely. So we got some housekeeping things. Let's cover the current standings within the iNRS Racing Series. So right now we are the race to the chase to the playoffs after Bristol. You've got Austin Wheeler, who has won 3 races here in the iNRS Racing Series, topping the winners leaderboard. Corey Bunch, Jordan Wenzel, Lucas Whitehead, and Dakota LaRue and Lucas Gortman have punched their ticket into the playoffs.
That's right. We've got 6 that are guaranteed to be in right now. You can see the rest of the top 16 as it currently stands. Eric Jeffers in 7th, Tyler Lame in 8th, Michael Whitley in 9th, Jacob Mossau in 10th, John DeRugeris in 11th, Paul Irvin 12th, Vernon Broadbeck is 13th, Ty Bostick 14th, Vince Burns 15th, and John Ledger is the last one in the top 16 right now by 4 points over Matthew Parasini.
Well, we've got a lot of racing yet to come here in this series, but certainly here, right around race 10-12, somewhere in the process, that we've got some. We got 6 of the 16 slots already filled.
I'm going through another technical glitch here. Give me a moment.
Okay. Well, we're looking forward to tonight's race. Again, as Jeff had said, we expect this to be 2 and 3 wide here at Talladega. These drivers should be putting on a show. Trying to get a feel right now for how many drivers right now are trying to make the show. They only allow 40 spots. I think we've got at least 35 entries for tonight's event. Just a minute, 20 seconds left of qualifying here. And then we will go into, a minute 20 seconds left of practice, and then we'll go into qualifying here. Now, with this league, what happens is that there's going to be about 5 minutes of a driver's meeting, and then we'll go to racing here. So for tonight's event, with the Jack Links 250 here, presented by the iNASCAR Racing Series, it's relatively warm here in Talladega, 83 degrees, but the track temperature, that's going to be the key factor, is 126 degrees on this 2.65 mile oval here.
They've got hot tonight.
It is screaming hot. They've got 94 laps. There will be a stage break at lap 31. This league has no quick repairs. There are six sets of tires, but tires are not going to be a factor here. 75% fuel, which equates to somewhere about, I think is around 27 or so green flag laps. But as we've seen with other races, that may or may not be a factor.
It's going to be interesting when it gets hot like this, the track gets slick. And when you get those cars running side by side, 3 wide, they tend to move around a bit, and you'll be able to see that tonight from some of our in-car views. But what happens then when that track gets slick is it becomes just a little bit harder for these guys to hang on to the cars when they're moving around like they are.
All right, we have got qualifying starting underway here at Talladega. Number of drivers have made their way out onto the track. First driver is Joe Musow. We're watching here qualifying at Talladega. Now with Talladega, they've got a long first lap to get up to speed, and then once they cross that start-finish line, their first lap is going to be their fastest lap.
You'll see these guys run usually a little bit higher on the track. Now, I'm guessing that Joe Musow there is already on his qualifying lap. But what they'll do is run that high line to give them a little more time to get up to speed. They can carry more speed through the corner. And then as they get to the start-finish line, you'll see them come down. And the quickest way around the track is right next to that double yellow line. And you'll see everybody that's qualifying try to hug that yellow line as best they can.
Yeah, this is his first lap right here. If you watch Joe Musow go for his first qualifying lap, we'll try to get some data up as soon as we can with the tops, the best time. Let's see if we can.
A lot of these times, the guys were running in practice, they were running in the draft, and they were running 49, 50, some is 51 seconds, but you'll see them in qualifying be anywhere from 8 to 10 seconds slower than that. That's how much of an impact being in the draft has.
Watching John Ledger here with his qualifying. Jumping over to Austin Wheeler. We're beginning to get some times populating here.
Yep, Austin Wheeler's got fast lap right now at 53.32, and that's actually a little better than I thought they would do. Austin ran 49, so he's 4 seconds slower on his qualifying lap. That's a good run.
All right, seeing some times, best times begin to populate. So Austin Wheeler currently, I think, has the best time here for qualifying, but we'll know best when we wind up getting our official starting order. We'll get that right after the drivers take their break in about a minute and a half.
Yeah, the other car that I was watching is Matt Crockett, who's currently in the provisional number 2 spot. He is only 1/1000th of a second behind Austin Wheeler.
Wow.
It's amazing how tight these times are. I show, let's see, everybody up
Corey
through,
Bunch just put up a time.
Everybody up through P32 is running in the 53s.
Now, Ty Bostic has put up a 53.31.
Yeah, and Corey Bunch is tied with him. He's got the same exact time.
That's incredible.
53.14. Wow.
Right down to the 1,000th of a second.
Yeah. That is pretty amazing to see an actual tie when you're going out to the 1,000th of a second. So Ty Bostic, Corey Bunch holding court there on qualifying lap.
Yep, there's only 30 seconds left to qualify. We're going to have, right now we do have 35 entries.
I showed 2 guys that have not gone out to qualify, so they're not going to be able to get a time in. Dakota LaRue and Austin Walton.
Oh, I think Austin Walton just put up a time.
Okay, yeah, he did.
And that's it. That's the end of qualifying.
Yep. Yeah, Dakota LaRue did not go out.
All right, so qualifying is done, and as you see by that little timer at the top of your screen, that pretty much is the time that the drivers will go into their drivers' meeting, meet with the admins, talk about the race today, and I think they're going to be talking a lot about patience and situational awareness.
Yeah, absolutely. When you've got a race like this, race is 94 laps. And you're running somewhere close to a minute per lap. So there's plenty of time to make your way to the front. And what you don't want is to wad up a bunch of cars in turn one before anybody even gets started. So I think these guys have shown that they're mature racers. They understand the value of patience, and they understand that you have to get to the end if you want to win this race. So I think they'll be careful on the start.
Well, let's cover our keys to tonight's event. Let's see if we can bring up those keys.
Yeah, stay in the lead draft is incredibly important. How many times have we seen somebody that either has a mishap or spins or even just gets out of shape and falls back, and if you lose that lead draft, that pack is going to run away from you.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other key here is definitely going to be teammates. It's going to come down. There's no way you can get this. This is one of those tracks where not one car can get around at the same track at the same speed as a pack of cars. You'll see typically that car is going to make it around. You saw times there in qualifying. Somewhere in the 54 range, 55 seconds to get around this track. In the draft, that time will be in the 49 and change. So nearly 5+ seconds better in the draft versus one car. And even if it's two cars, you're still going to get run over by the draft. Not until you get three or more cars will you be able to hit that same race speed. So that means you need either teammates or really good friends who are going to work with you. But as this race comes to a close, or even during the course of it, friends may not be your friends at that point.
Friendships change throughout the race. It's very interesting to watch. It's a whole psychological aspect to this. Third key to the race: pit strategy. Can't say that enough. You'll see all sorts of different strategies. You'll see guys come in, get fuel, no tires. You'll see 2 tires. You may even see a few 4 tires. But they're going to be all over the road. They're going to time when they take their tires. A lot of guys will take right side tires on one fuel stop and left side tires on the other. Tire wear is not a big issue here at Talladega. And so you're gonna see, and then when do you take that last pit stop? When is the best time to give you an opportunity to be at the front and stay there for the rest of the race?
Yeah, and certainly what we saw when we broadcasted a race last night here at Talladega was that pit strategy kind of wasn't a factor because coincidentally we had a number of yellows which came right around the same windows that you would expect with pit strategies here. Now we do have a competition caution at that stage break around lap 31. The pit road will be closed a couple laps before, and they'll get that stage break with a competition caution right at the conclusion of the 31st lap. Now, that may change depending on the yellow situation. That'll be up to race admin to make those calls, but we'll pretty much see how that plays out. But, pit strategy could or could not be a factor, but we'll be watching that and update you as best we can. The biggest factor there is going to be how these drivers, knowing they can only get 27 or so laps per green flag run, and we've got 94 laps to complete, how that all plays out. Now, you can do the math and say, okay, 27, that's 54, and another 27 on top of that's going to get you to 81. So yeah, you're a little short there. So it'll have to be something in between. But what we have seen before is that we'll see drivers come down no matter when a caution flies, top off a fuel tank, and well, that just jumbles everything up. And then you'll be really challenging our math skills here in the booth.
That is the truth. When when everybody starts doing something different, it becomes a little tough to follow, but we will do our best to bring you that information as we can figure it out.
Well, that drivers' meeting has wrapped up here, and they see that winning flag at the end, that checkered flag fly. That means that is gone. That means we are about to go to get in on the grid here. We'll see if we can bring that grid to you. Well, that's a little close to that pace car. Let's go back out a little bit and see what we can see with the grid. And so, all right, let's go ahead and bring up our grid for tonight's race.
For those of you that are technically minded, the computer that controls all of this is in the Charlotte, North Carolina area in Rick's home. And Rick right now is in Rhode Island trying to control that computer by remote control. And that is going to be a challenge, but I know he's up to the task.
Okay, all right. Thanks for that's I guess your how we make the sausage here. So Ty Bostic wins the pole here at Talladega in the iNRS Racing Series. To his outside, you'll see Corey Bunch, Austin Wheeler in third, Matt Crockett in fourth, John Ledger is in fifth, Tony Japs in sixth, Tyler Lem in seventh, Matt Pericini in eighth, Lucas Gortman in ninth, and Clark Franz in 12th, Richard Mills in 11th, and Bradley Reese is in 12th. Sorry.
Yep. And 13th is Christopher Cash alongside Jacob Mossow in 14th. Next row, Josh Douglas in 15th. Garrett Wilson in 16th. Jeff Ramstill is in 17th position. John DeRuger in 18th. Scott Thomas in 19th. 20th is Eric Jeffers. Lucas Whitehead is in 21st. And Vince Burns alongside him in 22nd.
All right, in 23rd, you've got Eddie Musso Jr. Mike Wheel finds himself in 24th. Dan Hughes, 25th. Austin Walton in 26th. Jordan Wenzel in 27th. Paul Irvin in 28th. Michael Whitley Jr. in 29th. Ron Fitting in 30th. Joe Musow in 31st. James Trotter in 32nd. Corey Ennis in 33rd. Robin Maldonado in 34th. And in 35th, you've got Dakota LaRue.
And the cars are getting to the end of the backstretch now. They'll be going into turn 3. And then coming out of 4, they'll make their way to the green flag.
All right, we are almost underway here. You'll see that pace car drop out now. The start-finish line is a couple hundred yards down from where you would normally see it at that center of the tri-oval. It's actually slid farther away. So while they entered that tri-oval, they've got still a good few hundred yards before they get to that start-finish line.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's unlike any other track on the circuit as far as the location of that starter's box.
All right, here we go. Ty Bostic is in charge, and the cars will be entering the Geico restart zone momentarily. Right there, and the green flag flies here at Talladega. We are underway in the iNRS Racing Series Jack Links 250 here at Talladega.
That 77 car of Corey Bunch got a really good start. He timed that perfectly. Got out just a little bit in front of Ty Bostic, but you're going to see these cars change position so fast that we won't be able to call every change. It's interesting how they can run and change from high line to low line. Get a run on somebody else. There'll be a lot of passing tonight and a lot of cars that just seem like they can't decide which lane to be in, but there's method to their madness.
Ty Bostic is out front. He's got Austin Wheeler in the 48 behind, and John Ledger here in third, as the low line has really made a big move with this first lap, and Ty Bostic will lead the first lap here at Talladega.
That's very interesting how Corey Bunch got out a little bit ahead of Ty at the beginning, but now here he is about 5 cars back and making a run. But you'll see the a lot of times that inside line advance even more during the corners, shorter way around. But yet the outside line, they're still too wide now. That outside line will keep up a good head of steam when they're up there a little bit higher on the track.
All right, that low line continues to dominate here just after our third lap here at Talladega. Ty Bostic still out front with the 48 of Austin Wheeler right there. John Ledger, Corey Bunch.
Yeah, you can see in some of these shots how that bottom lane is organized just a little bit better than the outside lane. You've got more cars in it. They're packed a little bit closer to one another. And all of that adds up to just being a little bit faster than that outside lane.
Solid performance here by Ty Bostic.
Dominating right now. But then the other side of that coin is, we know the drivers talked about patience during their drivers meeting, talked about, hey, let's get a good green flag run, get everybody into their rhythm, get everybody comfortable, and then we can start getting racy as we get a little bit deeper into the race. Ty Bostic just getting a great push from the 19 John Ledger right behind him, and Tyler Lame tucked up in there as well.
Yeah, solid low line. Really just a dominating performance right now. Of course, here it's a little bit different. You've got to have not only a good car up front, but more importantly, that second car, that pusher, is really going to make a big difference. Now, one of the things that they've changed recently here in iRacing, as they've continued to try and make this simulation more realistic, is that they've changed the dynamic of how these cars can push each other, and we saw and have seen that they're now more forgiving in the corners, so we can see those cars as they get in the corners. They can actually have more ability to push in the corners.
That's interesting, because that was one of the difficulties of this car in the past, is if you even touch somebody and you're not perfectly straight, especially in the corner, you're going to send that car in front of you for a ride. But this is good. I had an interesting experience this week. I was listening to a Dale Earnhardt Jr. podcast, and he was talking about Daytona and Talladega and running in the draft, and specifically about iRacing. And he talked about how you see a lot of cars trying to follow the car in front of them. So as that front car drifts, then the second car drifts, then the third car drifts, and after a while it starts looking like a slinky out there. Just everybody chasing each other, and how that actually slows you down. Dale Jr.'s point was, if that second car will just hold it steady, let the car drift in front of you a little bit as he needs to, you're actually going to go faster than if you try to chase him.
That's an interesting observation for sure.
So, and from somebody that really knows the draft, understands how it works, and has proven himself a multi-race winner in drafting situations.
So 7 laps complete here at Talladega. Again, our first stage. Oh, we got some. We'll go back and adjust that stage information. I think our stage info is incorrect.
Yeah, I think you said lap 31. Is that correct?
It is lap 31. That is correct.
Okay. A little bit of time to go yet, and with a 27 lap fuel run, they're going to have to stop somewhere mid stage and take on fuel.
Yep, they'll. I don't think they'll be able to get all the way around, so there will need to be at some point potentially a green flag topping off of fuel here. So that will make things super interesting.
That outside lane now with the 42 of Tony Japs, they've caught up.
Yeah, Tony Japs is definitely found that he can lead. There's a good outside line there that's making some headway, and they're now moving forward.
Yeah, it's interesting to me how some cars do really well in front, but can't push. Other cars can do both well, and then there's some cars that push really well, but when they get out front, they just dog down. And I'm not sure why that is, but we see it from time to time that certain cars, or maybe it's certain drivers, will do a much better job pushing than they do out front. Right
Look at
now,
the 42 of Tony Japs out there. He's got the 24 of Matt Pirosini. Is doing a pretty good job of moving that line up to the front.
They really are. They're up there now. Looks like about 5th and 6th position, and bouncing back and forth up as high as 3rd. But it's they've figured something out in that outside lane. Still running too wide.
Well, it's a long race. We're just 10 laps into a 94 race event here. You don't want to take a chance of making a mistake just trying to move around. I think we've seen that here because all this week in iRacing, just typically the way it works is that there is they run the official races here, the same location that NASCAR is going to that weekend, and so there's a lot of opportunities to get some practice time in on this track. Now there is, I think, Jeff, some beginning to try and form up a 3rd lane on that a little bit farther back there, but they're going to need some help.
Yeah, absolutely. 1 or 2 guys getting out there by themselves probably is not going to cut it. Oh, did we just have a change in the lead? No, I thought I saw. Oh yeah, we did.
Oh yes, we did.
Yep. Tony Japs by Boston.
Yeah, and you'll see that a lot if that outside line is developing like that. They'll kind of slingshot that outside driver, and he can drop down in front, just like you saw there. As Jeff had said earlier, we'll call it, but it's going to change as each lap goes by.
Absolutely. So Matthew Pirosini in the 24 was the pusher. Now he's the guy out front in that outside lane, and trying to see the car number of who's pushing him. Is that the?
Oh, that's Corey Bunch, and you couldn't have a better guy behind you for sure.
Yeah.
I think also the 36 of Bradley Reese is there behind Corey. So that 3rd guy in line is in a very unique role. He's got to try and stay off the guy in front, but stay close enough to pick up the draft. And you've heard the phrase before, don't push the pusher, because it really will unsettle or spin that car. So.
Yep. Now Matthew Pirosini does the same move.
Yeah, this time he took Corey Bunch with them, and they both dropped down.
Yep.
Yep, so what we're seeing is a little bit of hopscotch here as these drivers begin to take over the lead and share it between them. Of course, we're just 12 laps in here to the Jack Links 250 here at Talladega. We appreciate all of you who have tuned in tonight.
You heard us talk at the beginning of the race about the keys to the race, and one of those keys was teammates. And right now, we don't have a lot of teammates connecting. We've got, there's a wide variety of teams in the top 10. It's not till you get back to 10th, 11th. Through 13th, we've got a couple Mountain View Racing guys that are real close together, and other than that, it's Well, this is interesting. Now that second lane has fallen way, way back.
Yep, yes, they sure have. That's kind of falling apart. Now, that's only going to work like that if you've got people that are, really committed to it and staying tight. But unfortunately, that outside lane is kind of fizzled. I think there may have been some issues with some connectivity because I thought I saw maybe a car blinking somewhere
Yeah,
back.
I
Also,
saw a
we
green
saw,
car out there on the third lane.
yeah, that's Bradley Reese. He was up. He was really high on that outside line, but he may have some connection issues, which I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happened to that outside line. It's very disconcerting as a driver if someone is, you'll see that car kind of appear and disappear. That's an indication that there's a connection issue with that driver, and with that happening in front of you, man, that's got to be pretty freaky.
Oh, it is. I was in a race Monday night, and I had connection issues, and I was not making friends that night. People were nervous. They couldn't tell where I was. I was trying to hold my line, stay out of everybody's way, but I ended up just bailing out of the race. It just wasn't worth it to ruin everyone else's time.
All right, so 15 laps in, Matt Pericini in the 24 is out in front. Corey Bunch right there behind him, giving a big shove as these drivers are entering into turn 3. I think the leader's about to run up on possibly a car at the end of the lead lap here. That may be Dan Hughes in the 60. That's always going to be a challenge as the pack, which is running super fast and 49 change lap times, runs up on a lap down car, and you can see that that's the 60 on the outside there. He stayed up high and allowed the rest of the field to go by.
That second lane got fairly well organized and made their way back up, but then they kind of fell apart again. Now they're trying to get it back together, but those two cars have a pretty good jump on third place.
Let's go on board with Matt Pericini, just see what Matt sees. Okay, so there's the lap down. There's the car in front that's, I think, at the tail end of the lead lap. He hasn't quite got him yet, but he's close.
Yeah, he'll gather him up pretty quickly. I love these in-car camera looks. You see what the driver sees. And, not so much on this shot. You can see how quickly he's catching this car, though. Now he's going to have to go around him.
Yep, that's the 60 of Dan Hughes there. He finds himself now a lap down.
Those front cars made it by really easy. Where it gets tough is in the back, where they're running too wide and he's on the bottom lane, and everybody has to shift up. And if somebody doesn't,
oh, they're 4 wide.
Yeah, that causes, you can see it there. That could cause some big problems.
Well, because he's not running at the same speed. He's trying to do his best to trying to blend, but it is super hard as that freight train begins to run him over. But he's made his way there. Now we are seeing a bit of a third lane forming up on that outside there.
Yeah, when I was watching it, go ahead.
That's the 38. Trying to figure out just exactly who that is. I'm looking through the
38 is Shane Trotter.
There we go.
When I was watching practice, there was you could see guys drafting and guys running single car laps, and there was about 10-mile-an-hour difference between the two. And that doesn't seem like a lot, but it could really jump up on you quickly.
So right now there's an interesting thing happening. That solid third line has formed up pretty decently and have made their way up front. Now they lost a few cars just now who dropped down to that center line. And that outside line is not for the faint of heart.
No.
But they've made some good headway. We'll see if they can make a difference here.
You got to give it to those 4 cars. They're sticking together, and it's working for them. 4
Absolutely.
cars is a good number. You see them on the corner there separate a little bit, trying to get some air into the radiator.
Yeah, well, that line is, that line's broken apart now.
Yeah.
So you'll see this all race where they're tight in 1, 2, or 3 lines, and then something happens. Oh, there's a wreck in the back. The caution may or may not fly here. We'll see. But there's definitely some action in the back here. Oh, we are on the caution for sure.
Caution.
See the damage on the number 8 of Josh Douglas. He's got some damage on his car. I think Dan Hughes may have been involved at some point there. We'll see if we can go back and pick up just what happened here.
Yeah, Dan Hughes is in the pits now. He's got some serious damage on the front end of his car. Ooh.
Yeah, let's back that up just a little bit here. So right there you can see the 60 of Dan Hughes. That's the blue car down low. You see the 8 of Josh Douglas right above. We'll run this through a bit of quarter speed here. As they're entering into the travel, that's the restart zone right there. This is a little bit of a sketchy spot here because, it's situational awareness. You see the 60 come up a bit. The 8 moves up as well. And the 60 is
trying to give him room there, but
I don't think he knew the 8 was there.
Yeah, I think you're right. The 30 is that 30 or the 50?
That's the 60.
60. He just drifted up just enough to put the hurt on the 8.
Yeah. So caution flies here, lap 21.
That 8 of Josh Douglas, yeah, he's in the pits. He's missing most of his right front fender.
So as expected here, at lap 21, we expect to see the whole field come in for at least fuel. Now, not everybody will come in there. This is an opportunity, especially with the stage coming up, that if you wanted to stay out, knowing the caution's going to fly at about 10 laps, you could pick up some positions, as we just see that Vince Burns in the 55 chose to stay out. In fact, I think he's the only car that chose to stay out.
Yeah, that's guarantees him the pole position on the restart, but he's going to have to come in, I would think, unless this yellow flag is enough. If he's been coasting in the back, running half throttle,
that's the only way I think you could pull it off.
Yeah.
All right, so as the field comes out of the pits, again, a couple cars, Dakota LaRue chose not to come in, and neither did Vince Burns. That faults Dakota LaRue, who is sitting in the back up to 10th, and Vince Burns will be right there to lead this restart. Now, again, as Jeff indicated, we've got a caution that's going to fly in about 9 laps, but does he have enough fuel to make it?
I think we will find out.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. So the 2 cars affected in that little push and shove match, the 8 of Josh Douglas is in the pits right now getting repairs, and the 60 of Dan Hughes looks like has he
retired.
Vacated the race? He retired. Yeah,
he has retired. The 60 had retired after that incident. There was a significant amount of damage on that number 60 car. He was not keeping up speed-wise, so I think it probably was, the thing to do.
Yeah, and I think the 8 of Josh Douglas is going to be in there for a while, and then he's going to probably be too damaged to be able to attain full speed. I'm looking at his car in the pits, and he's still missing half that front fender on the right side, and on the left side he's got some damage, so it's going to affect his aero quite a bit.
Well, that's unfortunate for Josh Douglas.
Yeah, he was kind of the innocent bystander there, I think, at least from our
Yeah,
perspective.
yeah, he did everything he could to try and avoid that for certain.
Yep.
Well, the race lights are off on top of our pace car, which means only one thing. We're about to go back to green flag racing next time by that control car. And at this point is the 55, that blue and red Mustang up at the front will be the control car.
Michael Whitley and Corey Bunch are up there, looks like in the outside lane, and they are teammates. So we finally have a couple guys that have gotten together with some of their other partners.
You also got
Here.
Garrett Walden, who's also part of 40 XLI, up there in second with Matt
Yep.
Ursini. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So well, they're starting to find each other now. It takes a little while. You can't just jump 10 spots and get your teammate, but uh, the good racers find each other. They know the first part of the race isn't necessarily to get to first place. It's to get with somebody that can get you to first place.
of course, when that last lap, that white flag comes out, the gloves are off.
Absolutely. There's no friends anymore.
All right, so you see that pace car drop off momentarily. The start winds up in the hands of the 55 as he makes his way down towards the Geico restart zone.
We'll see how Vince Burns does on this restart. Moved up quite a bit by staying out.
Absolutely picked up 22,
Got a
21
good jump
spots.
there.
Yep, green flag flies here again at Talladega in the iNRS Racing Series Jack Links 250.
Here's one thing you see: the 55 of Vince Burns got a big jump, but he's out there by himself. And you get those four cars running together, and they're just going by him in a hurry now.
Yep, they're gonna take control,
Yeah,
and you can see that.
him and see if they 55 moved up now. Tried to blend in with those guys that passed.
And you find the 43 of Garrett Walden taking over the lead here at Talladega.
And that's interesting that four-car pack stayed in that center lane. They have not moved down to the bottom. They're up there in that third lane now. Oh, there's one car. Oh, that was the fifth place car that ducked down there.
Yeah, we'll probably see over the next lap or two as these guys begin to try to figure out where they need to be and who's their new dance partners. Because with that pit stop, lots of positions have changed.
Yeah, the 55 of Mike Burns, who led us to the green flag, he's in that outer line now, and he's going to have a tough time pitting from there if he does start to run low on fuel.
Yeah, Vince Burns finds himself right now. He's running in 8th, but you're right, he's on that outside line. So, but just 6 laps to go before we go under caution here at lap 31. Of course, you've got to hope that you've got enough fuel in the tank to make that happen.
Yeah.
Slicing and dicing here. You see a new leader down on that low line. I think that's the... Trying to see exactly who that is. I'm thinking that is the... I thought it was Corey Bunch for a second there, but looks like it's a 17.
I heard Corey Bunch right about that same time on the radio giving a big woohoo. So, I couldn't see him though. I wasn't sure.
Oh,
there's a little
behind.
wreck going on there.
Caution hasn't flown though. Now caution won't. The admins here, like most leagues, will throw that caution when it needs to fly. If they're all those cars are either off the racing surface or out of the way, or they're all pointing in the right direction, they'll keep this green.
Yeah, and with this big of a track, you're looking at 2.66 miles.
Oh, caution does fly.
Okay, they have time. It's not like a short track where the leaders are going to be coming around on you in 15 seconds. They've got plenty of time that they can sort out. Okay, are they going to get going again? Are they out of the way? What should we do here? And you can make a good informed decision instead of having to make a fast decision. This is going to play in Vince Burns' favor. A few more caution laps. This
yeah,
will
it's not going to hurt.
take us to the stage break, I think.
Yeah, they may not even hold that stage break. They may just let it fly here. I'm going to try and see if we can see just what happened there, but if not, we won't spend a whole lot of time looking for it. So, it kind of happened before. We're back a lap here. Yep, I don't see it, Jeff. Just let it go. And
everybody's still running now except those two cars that we talked about earlier. So must not have been a lot of damage.
Yep. I do see some damage that's pretty significant on the 25 of Jacob Musa. Let's just go back really quick and see if there's something that we can see real quick. Oh, yeah. Yep. So the 25 of Jacob Musa was involved.
Yeah, he's got some right front damage. Pretty significant.
So what's that red car on the screen with the yellow 25 on its roof? And this may just be like a little bit of an accordion effect with that inside line. See the 51 running up behind him?
Yep.
Right there, the danger is if you back out of the throttle just a little bit, right there, he got kind of tapped, and then unfortunately that sends him up.
Guys in front of him were slowing up, and they just got.
Oh, lots going on right in front of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a victim of circumstance there, unfortunately.
Yep, here comes the front end damage. Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in the pits and staying there for a bit.
All right, so
do it, but
yeah. Well, lap 29, we are under caution here, which probably this is the point at which they close the pits. Anticipation of that competition caution, so we'll try to figure out just what happens here. But my guess is that that will be considered the competition caution here.
that would make sense.
Well, here we are at lap 29. Number of drivers went in, pretty much the whole field, as a matter of fact, went in, with the exception of the number 3 of Ron Fitting, who now finds himself out in front.
Does this league award stage points?
They do. So if that competition caution is going to come out when we go back, that's one thing. But my guess is we're going to cross this start-finish line here at lap 29 to be lap 30. We'll go back to green on lap 31. So that will probably be, they'll award those stage points based on that caution flag positioning.
Yep. And Ron Fitting should be okay on fuel. He last pitted on lap 21. So that should carry him. He's going to have to pit before most of the other cars, but he's only got got 7 more laps of fuel that he's used. So
Yep, and a number of those are under caution. So
a few of the guys in the back, John DeRugeris, Tyler Lane, Christopher Cash, they all came back in again on lap 29 to top
yep,
off.
a
They're in the
very
back
common.
anyway. Get a
That's
few
going to be a
extra
very
pounds,
common.
you never know.
Right, very common strategy we've seen multiple times covering these super speedway races. A lot of these guys will come in, just get us, for a second or two. They won't lose a lot position wise, but they'll get just enough extra fuel to try and do their best to maybe eliminate the need for a stop later in the race. Well, if you do get a chance, if you got a moment to, if you're not subscribed already to our YouTube channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button and keep up to date on things that are happening, all things IWM. Obviously, here to keep up with our broadcast here of the iNASCAR Racing Series on Thursday nights. We also have a Tech for Troops Cup Series that mimics a similar schedule as to NASCAR's as well on Wednesday nights. And then, just to keep it interesting, there'll be an occasional special event that we broadcast throughout the year. So if you could and add to our subscribers, we'd love to have you as one of our family of viewers.
You guys watching and liking and subscribing, that's what helps us stay on the air here, keep broadcasting these races. So thank you for doing that.
All right, we are back underway. The 3 of Ron Fitting was the control car, and we're back underway here. See Jordan Wenzel now finds himself up there in front. That's the 81 of Jordan Wenzel to the outside.
Second lane's on a roll.
Yep, they've got a good group of cars there. Strong together. Oh, a little bit of action, a little bit farther back in the field there.
Yeah, from the radio, it sounded like they started getting bunched up, and people had to either hit somebody or go down on the
Not always what you want to hear, especially at nearly 200 miles an hour.
Right.
So restarts are, we've often said that, cautions breed caution. So when you're all bunched up here on a restart, the opportunity for an error is ever so present. So as these guys settle in, we'll see what they can do.
We've got Jordan Wenzel leading the pack now in that outside lane, and Jordan, we've seen him. He's been up in the podium finishing positions before, so he's no stranger to the front.
Right there, we've also got Austin Wheeler, Matt Parasini, Austin Walton, Matt Crockett. And again, you see that green car of Bradley Reese there down on that, leading that low line.
Yeah, this is the first time that I can remember we've seen that second lane have such a strong lead and be so well organized.
Yep, solid showing by the 81 of Jordan Wenzel out there in front. Of course, you got some good help. That outside line looks a lot better organized, Chip. I think that that will, that organization will help them to push that draft through and really show up some times. I'll try to bring up some of the, you can see some best times here on the last times. We'll see these times update as we cross the start-finish line. This is their last time they came through. So solid, 50-second times just off their, you see some 49s. You see the 49 Tyler Lem there, but some good speed here. Better, almost 5 seconds better than their qualifying times.
as I get down through the list, most of these guys are somewhere in the neighborhood of half a second to 6 or 7 tenths off of their best time. So they're not running as fast as they have, but pretty close.
Solid racing here right now.
There.
Yeah, that's the end. That's the nature of the beast. A little bit of disorganization sets in as these guys begin to try and figure out which way they should go.
We saw that car that was hung out in the middle finally got down in front of that inside lane. We have a couple other cars dropping down there now. That blue car dropped down. I think they think there's a chance for that inside lane to, whoop, somebody else drop down. Back in the field, they're making an attempt to go 3 wide. Whoop, somebody just spun at the back, I think. Yeah, there's an accident. The
caution flies.
Beginning of the back stretch.
Number of cars off the pace. Eddie Musso Jr. possibly involved. That's the 26. Let's see if we can figure out just what happened.
It's like the 19 and the 59 are both off the pace.
See the 26. Oh, right in front of them. So the accident happened and right in front. See the 43 is involved. 55 of Vince Burns.
That 69 squeezed by. Oop.
22 of Ty Bostic winds up hard in the wall. 26 comes down, then takes out the 75. I'm sorry, that's the 15, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And 26, can he hold it? Does he wind up going back up the track? He holds on. But unfortunately, another caution flies here at Talladega. That's just what we expect to see. Unfortunately, these super speedways, things happen.
And Ty was our pole sitter, wasn't
he? Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Now he may be junk in the pits.
Yep. He'll be heading there for sure.
I think he may. I could be wrong. I think he may have retired.
I think you're right. Yeah, he's out. Jacob Mossa is out. No, Jacob is still in there. He's just 3 laps down. Josh Douglas is retired along with Dan Hughes. So we've got 3 cars that are out right now.
All right, the entire field makes their way down onto pit road for, looks to be some drivers are taking rubber. Not all. Most are just taking fuel. And Lucas Gortman finds himself in the 16 out first to be the control car on this restart.
That we saw that was running in that outside lane took a chance and dove down to the bottom to be at the lead of that lane. So when the cars bunched up under caution, he was in a great spot to get in and out of the pits quickly.
All right, 38 laps complete here at Talladega. We've got our 3rd caution for an incident a bit farther back in the pack. As Jeff indicated, we've got a couple retirees for sure with Ty Bostic in the 22 and the 60 of Dan Hughes. Number of drivers for extended repairs in the pits. You see the number 8 of Josh Douglas is there. He's getting repairs. He's been there for 22 minutes. So he's got some work. Also, the 43 of Garrett Walden, Eric Jeffers in the pits, Dakota LaRue is there, Jacob Musow also as well getting repairs made. Well, these things happen, and this is one of those leagues where you don't get a free pass. You don't get a chance to go get a free car off the truck and jump in and a fresh car and start from scratch. This is a no quick repair race, no fast repairs. So if you break it, you either got to repair it or you load your stuff back up on the trailer and head on to our next race.
Yeah, that's I handed it to Josh Douglas. I thought he was out. My iRacing screen wasn't showing me his car. It was just showing me the rotating shot, so I thought he was out. But he is in there. Been in there for 18 laps. But he can come back, and who knows? Maybe he can get some points out of this.
Well, or he can just go, just pack it up if he needs to, and head up next week. We'll be at Texas Motor Speedway for the Auto Trader Echo Park Auto 200.
That should be a good race. I love Texas.
All right. Looks like we're going to go back to green around lap 40 here as we work our way towards the halfway point here at Talladega. Those drivers in the top 10, Lucas Corbin, Austin Wheeler, Jordan Wenzel, Tyler Lem, Bradley Reese, Austin Walton, Lucas Whitehead, Richard Mills, Jeff Ramsdell, and Shane Trotter. Those drivers are in the top 10.
Lucas Gortman's going to be the control car in that 16 machine. And we've had some changes up front tonight. It's been one of the good things about this race. Only 3 cautions so far. 39 laps in, be on our lap 40 when they take the green flag.
You can see just there, that's telling you there's been about almost 20 laps. The top 20 people have only led 20 of the 40 laps that we've gotten in here. So really, this is just one of those racetracks where anybody could come up and lead.
Wow.
All right, Lucas Gortman will be in charge of this restart as he enters the restart zone, and we are back to green flag racing here at Talladega.
First group of cars got a good jump, and then they're broken up quite a bit there in the middle, and then the back's the other lane, and I think that's going to give them an advantage. You're going to see a lot of movement here at the beginning when those gaps are there like they were. Things have tightened up on that upper row, so they can still come down towards the front like you just saw that gold car do, but it's you're not going to see guys from the bottom being able to go up, at least up in front.
I think that lower line is getting organized, though. I think they're going to make a pretty good run here because that outside line is really not tight. There's pretty good gaps between those cars, which is not good, although they've tightened up there pretty well. That's what you need to do. Your bumper needs to be tucked up under the guy in front, just like the 81 of Jordan Wenzel is doing, pushing Lucas Gortman. That's how you're going to be successful.
Yeah, and you saw him as they went into the turn, he drifted up a little bit, got a little bit of separation, so he didn't risk spinning that car in front of him.
And Jordan Wenzel has really done well here tonight so far, here 42 laps in.
Yeah, he's proven himself to be a great pusher. You can see him, easing back in the corners, getting back up to him in the straightaways, and that's more difficult than what it looks. Doing a pretty good job of not doing the Dale Jr. slinky, just staying right with him.
I think it's 79 of Scott Thomas on that low line. He finds himself leading that charge up. He's got the 48 behind him of Austin Wheeler. And Scott Thomas finds himself up at the front here.
Boy, you talked just a couple laps ago about that inside lane making a charge, and boy, did they.
Scott Thomas is one of the owners of this league. Both himself and Josh Douglas just do a great job here with the iNRS Racing Series. You can talk to the competitors in the league and others. This is just one of those well-run, well-organized leagues that puts out just a fabulous product. We're privileged here at the IWM Broadcast Network to be able to cover them each and every week.
Well, now we've got the makings of 3 wide, but not the typical Talladega 3 wide where the front 3 cars are running right next to each other. That center lane now has the advantage.
Yeah, I see what looks like a recipe for that third lane to form up on the outside there. They've got the cars. If they could just get tight together, if they do so, they will be unstoppable, because that's a fast track way to go. And you're seeing a little bit of a few takers say, "Oh, there's a third lane. I think I'm going to go up here and join that."
They have moved up. They're making a race out of it. A lot of people left that second middle lane to go up top.
Well, you're in a no-win situation there. You find yourself caught in the middle, and you're getting side drafted from both sides.
Yeah.
Corey Bunch continues to stay up there. Jordan Wenzel continues to be up there, giving a big push. Really, it's like no matter who's around, whether that lane forms or not, the 81 of Jordan Wenzel says, "You know what? Stick with me, kid. We're going to go somewhere."
Yeah. He moved down to the bottom lane. I think he thought Lucas Gortman was going to go as well, and he finally does. Now those two are tucked back in together, and
yeah, it's a little bit
tough combination to beat.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. The push down on that low line is a little bit, just from the angles, a little bit more touchy than at the high line, but you can make it work. Those guys are skilled enough; they can pull that off each and every week.
The interesting thing about this race is it's not as much physical on the driver as it is mental. The focus that you have to maintain to be able to run this close together for this many laps at 190 miles an hour, that is a tough battle.
Yeah, that's absolutely the truth. Let's go on board with Jordan Wenzel. Let's see what Jordan's able to see. Looking inside the 81, you can see, let's kind of clear up a little bit here. He's got a rear view mirror full of cars, a side view mirror full of cars, and not a whole lot of visibility out that front windshield. He's got the bumper of Lucas Gortman right there in the 16. Oh, and 16 moves out of the way, drops down in front.
That's an interesting move.
Yep, he left.
I would have thought he would have stayed with someone that was pushing him so well, but I guess he can always go back to him if he needs to.
Well, the 81's got the 99 of Tyler Lem there right behind, so Tyler's been a solid competitor here in this series. And now the 16 finds himself without a dance partner.
Yeah, he drifted up there, and that I guess that was Austin Wheeler in 48 got down below him, and he couldn't get back down. So now finds himself back up in that center lane again. And
all right, we're halfway.
Back with his old dance partner, Jordan Wenzel.
Yeah. Well, we're halfway through this race here at Talladega in the iNRS Racing Series, lap 48 complete. Right now, Lucas Gortman in the 16 continues to lead. You got Jordan Wenzel, Austin Wheeler, Tyler Lem, Lucas Whitehead, Bradley Reese, Richard Mills, Austin Walton. Clark Friends finds himself now up in the top 10, and Coriolis in 10th.
Lucas Gortman goes back down to that inside lane again. I think we're deep enough in the race now. We're past the halfway point, and he's starting to work those lanes of traffic, and whichever lane has a run, try to get in front of it.
So right now, most of these drivers have pitted around lap 37. We're looking for, based on our calculations, green flag stop somewhere around lap 62 to 64 if we stay green.
These guys have been doing a really good job of green flag racing. Only 3 cautions so far. I can remember races where we had 3 cautions in the first 10 laps. So, this is a great exhibition of drivers that know how to race and know when to race. When to get really, they're always racing, but when to get really racy. So
yeah, I expect to see that as we get towards lap 88 and beyond. Could be a wild ride here.
Yep. Yeah, from the final pit stop, when they start making their final stop, that's when it's really going to get interesting. So stay tuned, folks. This is now we have one long inside lane. Everybody decided to take it easy and get down there.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of shuffling in the back that took place. Just looking back through the field here, just taking a peek back.
Yeah, you look
There's
at
lots of action.
Tony Japs was our leader for a while now. He's back to 16. Matt Parasini was running up front. He's back to 19th.
Same with
Scott Thomas at one point. He's 24th.
Yeah. I mean, John Ledger's off 12 spots. Tony Japs off 10 spots. We've got some big winners, and unfortunately, with any type of super speedway race, you wind up with some big losers here as they find themselves shuffled through the pack. Not sometimes, but most of the time, it's not anything that they did. It's just how victims of circumstance.
Yep. Yeah, Corey Bunch was another one. He's down 24 spots.
Yep, Corey Bunch finds himself running in 26, and he is in danger of losing the draft. He is by himself. That is the loneliest place to be. Let's see if we can get
Boy, that is.
A chopper shot of here, see who's nearby. Can we get out a little bit farther? Looking from our far chopper side, he is unfortunately really about a half a front stretch behind the lead pack.
Yeah, it seems like they've got a long way to go to catch him, but the difference is they're going about 10 miles an hour faster.
Now this is mid-pack here, looking up at Joe Musso. He's running in 15th. And in this group of drivers here, there's a definite organization with this group. They're still off from the lead pack by a few spots, but they're solidly put together. They're going to make a charge.
Yeah, I think you're going to see those guys catch up to that lead pack pretty shortly.
Still up front, Lucas Corbin's out in front. Austin Wheeler, Lucas Whitehead, Jordan Wenzel, Tyler Lem. There's a lot of action looking back at the pack here. This is for 18th here. There's lots of action here deep in the pack.
40 laps to go.
Yeah, laps are beginning to tick away. Again, we are at lap 54. pit stops less, green flag stops potentially less than 10 laps away. Unless the caution flies.
Yeah, if the caution flies, everything changes. But what do you think? 6? No, it'd be about 15.
So if you think about it, if they could make it to lap 64, they can go 27. That's our estimate, not for sure. We'll find out for sure this time by this event. But if you say, okay, they make it to lap 64, they can go 27. That's 91. So you really got to. Yeah, it's really. We talked about at the beginning of the broadcast. Pit strategy is definitely a factor, especially if this goes to a green flag stop. And those drivers may have snuck back down and got another topping off of their tanks. That could be a factor as well.
Yeah, you go all the way back to 18th position, or let's see, 17th position. John Ledger pitted on lap 38. Everybody in front of him pitted a lap earlier. 3 cars pitted on 38, it looks like.
Plus, you're taking the fact that a lot of those laps off around lap 37 were done under caution. That could stretch that potential window for when they need to pit, potentially up to lap 66. And if that's the case, that could be their last stop.
Yeah. If only we could see into the future.
Or see how what their fuel mileage is like. We're just guessing. We haven't had a green flag stop, so all of ours is based on a bit of math and some conjecture here.
Yep.
But here we are, lap 57 here at the iNRS Racing Series Jack Links 250 at Talladega. We appreciate all of you who have joined us tonight and are watching along as this race finds itself with 37 laps to go before we call this one. Are we getting another first-time winner here this season, or will someone else add to their wins here? Don't know, but we'll know soon.
You can see on the track map there, up in that right corner, top upper right corner, the little bit of a gap there still between that first group and that second group. They're both running single file, fairly well organized, so it's going to be a little tougher for that second group to catch up now.
Yeah, we have a gap happening between those two drivers. Let's see if we can bring up some gap information here, see if that will tell us some information. So it's just about a 4-second gap between this front pack here and the pack running behind. It goes way back after that, though.
Yeah. And then you have a third small group. Looks like 3 cars, and then another group of only 2 cars that are in the back. Looks like Corey Bunch has met up with 2 other drivers, Robin Maldonado and Paul Urban, and the 3 of them are running together, so that will help them. Then Dakota LaRue and Eric Jeffers, both about 35, 36 seconds behind the leader, and they're running with just the 2 of them, so they'll have a little tougher time.
Yep, they picked up a third there. Not quite sure who that is yet. You have the 12 there of Eric Jeffers.
I don't show anybody else. Oh, I see Eric Jeffers and Mike Wheel.
The 25 is there as well. That's Jacob Musso. He's a lap or so down.
Oh, yeah, he's 2 laps down.
Yeah. All right, back up front, Lucas Gortman is out in front. Lucas already has a win here in the season, but he's looking to add to his win. We are at lap 60, 34 laps to go. The big question is, When's it time to come in?
Yeah, that is the big question.
Well, I think stay tuned. In 5 or 6 laps, we'll know that answer.
Yep. Second place and third place, Austin Wheeler, Lucas Whitehead in the 48 to 33 are teammates. So you can guarantee they are talking about when they're going to stop. The next person in that group is the next person in the Smoky Mountain Motorsports team is running back in that second pack. So probably won't be a factor in their decision on when to pit.
Yep, that's Christopher Cash in the 69 car. He's sitting back in 14th. All right, 61 laps complete. About to be on lap 62. That's pretty much where we had thought. 64 is where our math is estimating when they'll come in. But of course, we don't know exactly if they're going to run these cars dry. One of the things to consider here is if you're at the front, you're running flat out. Your foot's mashed all the way to the floorboards. Your car's running at the fastest it could possibly go. You're not lifting for anything. But if you're in the number 2 position or the 3rd position, you're feathering that throttle. You're being pulled along by the draft, so you're not burning as much fuel. Lucas Gortman has been at the front this whole time. He is going to be in a world of, he'll be the first car that will need fuel out of this pack.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting, the entire field, I've gone down through and compared lap times with their best and their last lap, and most of them are running about 1 second slower than their best time. So I don't know if that's by design or, you know, if they're trying to save occasionally when they can, or what the deal is, but the pace is not quite as quick as it has been earlier in the race.
Well, I don't think you can do a whole lot of pedaling here, trying to saving and getting off the fuel here, off the gas. You're going to wind up with these cars so close together at such a high speed. There isn't a whole lot of opportunity to feather the throttle, at least not up in front. Yeah. But lap 64 now complete, on to lap 65 here. We expect these drivers to be on pit road anytime for what could be their last pit stop of the night.
You can bet there's a lot of discussion going on in the Discord channels right now. Discord is a private radio channel that the drivers can set up, and they can include who they want to include in it. Usually you'll see all the guys from one team join together in a Discord channel so they can talk to each other, along with being able to key their mic and talk on the iRacing voice chat as well.
So these drivers up front, if they're a single file like this, as they begin to think about when they're going to come in for a pit stop, they're in good shape, and I expect to see that. We'll see that happening further on back in the field. Let's go back and look. This goes back to the back here. This is Vince Burns back here. They're also single file, as our guess is that they're beginning to prepare for green flag pit stops.
Somebody just announced they were going in this time. I think it was Dakota.
All right. So Dakota's back
like
there.
Guys in the back, Joseph Mossau, excuse me, Joseph Jacob, and Dakota LaRue, I know are going to pit, at least from their radio chatter. We'll see what.
We're still watching up front.
Pit this time.
Yep. We're pretty close there, Jeff. I think we are our math right there. So
up the end of lap 66. It looks like the leaders will pit.
All right, this will be a wild green flag pit stop. Here we go. They've got to get those cars woed down. They have not had to do that all race here, and they've got to break it down to 55 miles an hour from nearly 200 without a penalty.
Well, you saw Garrett Walden make up time getting to the pit entrance. Got around.
So about half the field is in right now for pit stop, maybe more than half.
Sorry, it wasn't Garrett. It was Austin Wheeler, the 48, that made up great time. Made it to pit road first.
That's Lucas Gordon getting out. Now we do have Garrett Walden. He is still out.
Yep.
In fact, there's really about 7 drivers who have not come in quite yet. We should expect to see them this time by. That's the 43 of Garrett Walden. You got John Ledger probably also going to come in. Nope, John Ledger stayed out. Of course, John Ledger and John Drew just came in at lap 38, so they have at least one more lap that they can make it out. So John Ledger takes over the lead here. And this will be those 2 drivers are the last 2 who have not come down yet.
Is that 29 laps? Looks like they got that first group.
So these guys should come down probably next time by. That'll give them a fairly good advantage if a green-white checker does come out. That's the real factor here when it's all said and done, that, you know, if you may have enough gas to get around under regulation, but if we go into any extended laps, that could be interesting.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. If we end on a green flag, or on a the first checkered flag, they might be good. But if it goes to a green-white checker, unless we have a few cautions along the way.
So that was a fuel-only stop. That was 12.90 in the box. When you're bone dry like these drivers are, it takes that whole time to get back, to get all that fuel in the tank. Now with that, you saw the John Ledger and John Drew just come out. You saw Austin Wheeler, Lucas Gortman, Lucas Whitehead, and Jordan Wenzel. This group just passed them now with 26 laps to go here. They have enough in their tank to make it. That was their last stop of the day. All right, Austin Wheeler, Lucas Gortman, Lucas Whitehead, Jordan Wenzel, Tyrell Lem, Clark Franz, John Ledger, John Drugis, Vince Burns, and Matt Crockett. That is your top 10.
Yeah, and this lead lap, or this lead pack, excuse me, they're running pretty well flat out too. They're running in the 49.3s, and that's pretty close to qualifying time. Or excuse me,
Beyond,
pretty close
yeah,
to what they were running in the practice session when they were drafting.
They sort of have come up upon this pack in front of them. That's 25 of Musso, Eddie Musso. I take that back. That's Jacob Musso as they work their way around them.
You see Austin Wheeler lead that front group around that small pack of 3 cars there.
That puts them, if they weren't a lap down before, they are now. And
Yeah,
this is typically,
these four guys running in this front pack ran their fastest lap of the race. All of them on that lap. They're hauling the mail.
they sure are. Well, save the best for last, I guess.
Yep.
All right, look at that track map. You can begin to see that there is a bit more spread out here, and these leaders will encounter, as they make their way around, they'll encounter some other lap down traffic, or those that are at the tail end of the lead packs. Now, what you do see is that pack that they just passed have kind of joined in and taken advantage of these leaders and picked up their draft.
Yeah, and I think that's how those guys were all able to run that fast lap, because they were gaining on that pack in front of them. Even though that pack was slower, they were taking advantage of the draft of that pack and picked up a little bit of speed off of that.
All right, 23 laps to go here at Talladega in the iNRS Racing Series Jack Links 250 here at Talladega. For those of you who are watching live, we certainly appreciate that. Or if you're watching, you watch this back on replay, we certainly appreciate you watching on the IWM Broadcast Network. If you get a chance to subscribe and join our 2,000 followers strong in our channel, we certainly appreciate you keeping up with us and tuning in.
This is starting to look interesting. The first 6 cars, Austin Wheeler, Lucas Gortman, Lucas Whitehead, Jordan Wenzel, Tyler Lem, and Clark Franz, all pitted on lap 66. They're tight. The next 2 places, John Ledger in 7th and John DeRugeris in 8th, pitted on lap 68. So they've got a 2-lap fuel advantage over the 6 cars in front of them. So I think if I were them, my strategy would be just stay in line. Stay in line and let them burn up all their fuel, and you just draft along because you've got a bit of an advantage.
We'll see how that all plays out. Now, of course, if a caution comes out, all this calculation, all this math, everything we're talking about goes right out the window because it's not going to matter.
That's right. Yeah, I can almost guarantee that if a caution comes out, you're going to see just about everybody duck down and take on enough fuel to finish and maybe a green white checker or 2. A lot of these drivers run what we call overlays in their car, which means they have a graphic that overlays on top of their screen that tells them their fuel situation, can tell them what kind of mileage they're getting, how many laps they have left, how many gallons they have left, gives them an idea when they will need to pit, when they absolutely are going to run dry, things like that. So when you don't have a whole team of engineers sitting on the pit box looking at that stuff for you, you've got to have some way of finding it out. And there's a lot of smart guys out there and gals that have come up with some of these overlays, worked with iRacing on making them compatible. And these drivers have a lot of information at their fingertips.
So if you're watching the top 3 with the 4 with Austin Wheeler, Lucas Gortman, Lucas Whitehead, Jordan Wenzel, those top 4 are out in front, but the folks that are chasing them, Tyler Lem, Clark Franz, John Ledger, John DeRugeris, Vince Burns, Matt Crockett, Jeff Ramsdale, and Jeff Ramsdale in this group here. That's pretty much 5th through 10th. They're about 6 seconds back, but they've only got 19 laps to try and catch this group.
Yeah, they're not going to, I don't think anyway. I shouldn't say that, but my guess is they're going to have a really hard time.
Yeah, they're chipping away a little bit, but it's hard.
Yeah.
It's fractions of a second. Back up front, Austin Wheeler. So interesting fact, though, in this. So if this just stays the way it is with 18 laps to go, and it comes down to that last lap, you don't want to be the lead car.
Yeah.
It is so difficult to win this race from the lead at this track. The advantage is clearly that second place or third place car. You've got the opportunity to build up a lot of speed coming out of 3 and 4, take advantage of the run you're going to have, whether you side draft or you're basically going to drop that car in front of you, and you have every opportunity to be successful. Now, if you're out in front, you got to figure out a way to block that or mitigate that run, so you stay out in front without wrecking yourself.
Absolutely. And you'll see towards the end of the race, these guys will drive more through their rearview mirror than through their windshield. They're watching the cars behind them all the time. They want to see when somebody's going to brake. And then you'll see that second place car sometimes do the old head fake where he'll go right, wait till the car in front of him moves up the block, and then he dives down to the left and hopefully can get back down there and
You see the
alongside before that first place car can come down on him.
See, that's the leaders. Their passing is the 17 of Austin Walton and the 79 of Scott Thomas. You don't know if that has affected them at all, but you look back at the time, you see that time with Tyro Lem, that gap has dropped about half a second, but there's only 16 laps to go. So is it possible? Absolutely. But it's going to take something else to happen here to make a difference.
Yep, the that second group, they've picked up about a half a second now, but I don't think there's enough laps left to do it at that rate. They're going to need a little bit of help. The other thing that helps these guys up front is when the cars get spread out this much, your chance of an incident causing a caution drops some. So it comes up in their favor that the cars are spread out, and these long green runs help perpetuate long green runs. So that's leaving these guys in a good spot.
Yeah, looking on back to the field, lots of single car or single row action here. Single wide action going back through the field. Going back to 17th, Tony Japs. At the tail end, he's behind the 3 of Ron Fitting, got Richard Mills there. Going back to the 69 of Chris Cash back here in this group again. They're all nose to tail. You got Bradley Reese out there in that green car leading this group. That is 18th, 19th, 20th. That's the group that's got Corey Bunch back here, as well as Michael Whitley Jr. But they're definitely off the pace significantly, trying to get back up. But there's, again, laps are ticking away here at Talladega.
Yeah, that second group is well, they're back to they lost that half second they gained. They're back to 6 seconds back. Yep. And the next group's 13 seconds back, and then the next group's 25 seconds back. So separated by quite a bit. Here with, what is that, 13 laps to go.
Yep. All right, 13 laps to go here at Talladega. Austin Wheeler in the 48 is out in front. Lucas Cortman is right there. Lucas Whitehead. They got Lucas and Jordan Wenzel.
You just got to wonder how much fuel is Austin Wheeler using. He's been running up front ever since that last pit stop. And
so my math says that if you say 27 laps, Jeff, so 66, 86, puts it right at 93. Yep. So this is a 94 lap race. So can you stay a lap? Sure. Then. Yeah. I think he's going to be okay.
Not another caution flag, or excuse me, a green light checker.
Yeah, if they do wreck and we do have a green-white checker at the end here, these guys may be in a little bit of trouble. All right, 12 laps to go.
This is what they call the calm before the storm. It's four cars chasing each other around a circle right at the moment, but things are about to get busy. You're going to see these cars get into that last lap or two. They're going to start jockeying for position, and it's going to make the end of this race quite fun for the viewers. Maybe not so much for the guys behind the wheel. Austin Wheeler, Lucas Gortman, Lucas Whitehead, and Jordan Wenzel, that front four group.
Now with just 10 laps to go here at Talladega.
And the interesting thing too there, Austin Wheeler and Lucas Whitehead are first and third. They're on the same team. They're both with Smoky Mountain Motorsports, but yet they're separated. Lucas Gortman is in between them. So if Lucas pulls out the pass, Lucas Gortman, is Lucas Whitehead going to stay up behind Austin Wheeler to give him a push?
Oh, I think absolutely. That's part of the whole. That was key number 2 in our keys to this event. You got to know where your teammates are and work together when it matters.
Yep. Strategy is so different on a super speedway with the drafting package that we have and the way the cars race in this format. So you never hear about a guy pushing his teammate to a win at Bristol. It just doesn't happen. But here on the super speedways, it does happen regularly. Ooh, little moving around there.
Yeah, you don't want to get too close to that double yellow line. And if you're familiar with iRacing and this is your seeing this track, it has been rescanned. They've updated some of the graphics here. That line was, which you'll see on Sunday, was painted as a double yellow, not a single yellow line, and they've got some new graphics here to match what's actually at the track.
They do a great job at iRacing on keeping up with the tracks and with the cars. They're constantly updating, and sometimes for those of us on the service, those updates can be frustrating at times because you're wanting to race and you got to sit there for 10 minutes and get an update. But iRacing just does such a great job at keeping these tracks and cars up to date.
Well, I don't think that gap matters anymore right now with just 7 laps to go. These guys at this point have a 7+ second gap over that next group. But what is interesting is what's going to happen at the end of this run. With just 6 laps left to that white flag, I don't know what's going to happen.
They don't either. That's what makes it fun, makes it exciting. Oh, there's a wreck. Yellow flag's
out. That was going to change everything. So, the phrase wreckers or checkers, I think, was born for these types of tracks.
Oh, boy. Austin Wheeler did not want to see that.
Nope. Go back and look. I don't know what happened here. I'm looking at Shane Trotter, but that may not be what's happened. Let's go back here and just see if we can see anything here. We can't tell just what caused that yellow flag.
I think the group that Corey Bunch was in had an issue. It sounded like on the radio, but they're a little hard to hear.
It could be here, can't be sure. Don't see anything. I saw that Michael Whitley Jr. had been involved in something. It may just be our graphics. We're watching to see what we see.
Only our 4th caution flag of the night. Whoa, there we go. A little bit of movement there.
Oh, there it is, right there.
57 caused
Yep,
that.
94. Like. Whitley Jr. involved. Yeah. All right, we figured it out. Look at that.
Yep.
Okay, so does that change everything? Yes, it does. As we were talking about, now with just 6 laps to go, everybody has enough fuel, but caution's out. So we expect to see people come in. We do see some folks. You see the tower showing some cars are on pit lane, which are further on back in the field, 15 to 23rd or in the pits.
Yeah, they don't have anything to lose. They'll come in, take a splash and go, get a little bit of fuel to get them through those last few laps. Looks like the guys up front, they feel with this caution, there's a lot of coasting going on right now, a lot of shutting off the motor and letting it coast, and then starting to back up again. All sorts of fuel saving tricks going on right now in that front group.
Yeah, because they're going to wind up. We're going to go back to green flag racing with just a couple laps to go here. So fuel is not going to be an issue. It's now going to be what strategy do you have to make this happen? What this has done is this has brought up everybody else who is 7 seconds behind you. Now you're in a double wide restart, and now they were 7 seconds back. Oh no! Now they're fractions of a second back, 2 rows, 3 rows back. So for those drivers who are there who are farther back, which is Clark Franz in the 15, John Drudges, Vince Burns, Tyro Lem, Matt Crockett, John Ledger, that's your top 10. You're now just within striking distance. So how this restart goes, who helps who?
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
And that's another thing that's interesting. We talked earlier about the Smoky Mountain Motorsports guys, Austin Wheeler and Lucas Whitehead. They were 1st and 3rd when the caution came out, so they're going to be nose to tail teammates. And I think they're talking on the radio right now on their Discord channel about how they're going to handle this restart.
Makes perfect sense. All right, so Austin Wheeler in that 48 with Smoky Mountain Motorsports will be the control car on this restart. Field is forming back up here. Lots of discussions of, hey, how do we do this? What's the plan? You go high, I'll go low. We'll hold the field back or not. You see that the 48 of Austin Wheeler has chosen. Now, leaders here have the ability to choose the high line or the low line. He has elected to take in the 48 the low line. And that puts the 33 of Lucas Whitehead, his teammate, right behind him. On the outside, you've got the 16 of Lucas Corbin. And he has got Jordan Wenzel, who has been up front all night, right behind him. Those two have been together multiple times. We've talked about that 16 being pushed by the 81. So here we go. We'll be restarting with just 3 laps to go here at Talladega.
They are coming to the end of the backstretch now. They'll go through turn 3 and part of 4 and the pace car will break off down into pit lane. And you'll see these guys get bunched up, get real tight, and this is going to be a wild one. I'm looking forward to this.
Absolutely. A little bit of a slinky effect happening right now as these guys are running up on each other. You don't want to, you're trying to anticipate the restart of the guy in front of you. You don't want to leave a bit of a gap. You don't want to miss the opportunity here because you've only got 3 laps to make it happen. Pace car drops off the racing surface as the 48 of Austin Wheeler heads to the Geico restart zone. He's in charge.
You see that blue, and here we go.
Green flag flies. We're back underway.
They jump quickly. Got a good start.
They don't want to jump out too far. They did just fine.
Yeah.
A little bit of side drafting there. Looks like the 33 has kind of moved up a bit to side draft the 16, get a little bit advantage.
Those outside cars got hooked up a little faster than the inside line.
Yeah, they definitely need some help. And that 81 got a good shove on the 16 of Lucas Gortman.
We've seen Jordan Wenzel pushing people all night long, doing a great job at that.
That 81 needs that 59 of John DeRugis to stay tight to him. Not too tight, but just tight enough to help keep that draft together, because they're taking advantage of every aero trick they can to try and make a difference here. Oh, wrecking behind.
Oh, another wreck in the back.
Caution flies again.
Looked like Austin Wheeler was out in front when that happened. The downside is I think Lucas Whitehead was in second, his teammate.
That's going to change everything.
Yep. I just noticed this. Positions 1 and 2 are Smoky Mountain Motorsports. 3 and 4 now are Roadrunner Motorsports. So yep. Clark Franz and Vince Burns, it looks like somehow. Now that may change. That's just the way they're running on the track. Let's see if iRacing has it different.
Go back and see if we can figure out just this what happened here.
Yeah, everybody's saving fuel right now, and they're changing positions. Oh.
Yep, try and go up a little bit farther, see if we can just see who was involved in that.
That blue and black car, maybe?
Right there.
Nope, the green car there.
Yep, that green car is the 36 of Bradley Reese. And got the 42 of that's Tony Japs there as well to the outside. That's the 18, I believe. No, the 88. I can't tell from this distance.
I can't either. Ooh, that was close.
The 96 of Mike Wheel goes and gets involved. But, yeah, pretty much the tail end of the field definitely involved in this late incident, which puts us under a green-white checker.
Yeah, that happened on lap 92. That makes that our 5th caution of the night. Had a really great long green flag run in the middle there.
Well, this changes everything.
Yes, it does.
All right, just our 5th caution of the night.
Yeah, the Roadrunner Motorsports guys are now back. Looks like they're in about 5th and 7th. Then Austin Wheeler, Lucas Whitehead teammates 1st and 3rd. So that surprises me.
Yeah,
that's how I didn't realize Lucas Gortman got up there into 2nd, but he did. That's great news for Austin Wheeler and Lucas Whitehead.
Yep.
It puts them nose to tail on that inside line, and Lucas Gortman and Jordan Wenzel in the outside line, just like we had last restart.
So that last caution did help, but here we are under caution again. I'm not sure how it's going to play with. Let's go on board with Lucas Gortman and see if he's in there trying to save fuel. Definitely coasting around in 5th gear. Definitely off the. He's definitely trying to save fuel a bit here. but not terribly, not like he's shutting it down. So they may have enough fuel to pull this off.
Yep.
All right. Well, appreciate you all staying with us here as we trying to wrap up this event here at Talladega. Just we're under green, white checker restart here. Once we go back to green flag racing, this field will form back up, and we'll see if we can get this race in.
Looks like the lights are off on the pace car. So we've reached lap 95. We will start hopefully the final 2 laps.
All right, and if you're unfamiliar with the process, once that green flag flies, next time by, if we stay without a caution, the white flag will fly, and then nothing can halt the checker flag flying at the conclusion of that lap. So we've got to make one clean lap under green flag conditions, and then we'll be back, and then we'll crown a winner here at Talladega. Caleb Horsley says on our YouTube channel, got the popcorn ready, looking for a 3-wide drag race to the checker.
I like it.
Yeah, we're right there with you, Caleb. All right, that puts the 48 and the 33. That are teammates right there on that low line. Again, we're that high line's got the 16 of Lucas Gortman, Jordan Wenzel, and John DeRudris. Headers coming out of turn 4. That pace car will drop off. Almost on cue, right?
Yep. He was listening to you. He's got the stream turned on. His car.
All right, this is on Austin Wheeler here.
Blue, and away they go.
Green flag flies here.
Lucas Whitehead give Austin Wheeler just a little bit of a shot right before the line. Get him to push out in front. And he gets back up there with him. And there's 2 cars on the outside lane. They got separated a little bit.
Yeah, that's a huge advantage for that 48 and 33. That's the last thing they wanted to see. But
Yep.
looks like the 450-59 of John Drew just catches back up. Something happened there. But that certainly has got us in a drag race now with these top 6 cars.
Ooh. Outside got the edge for a little bit. Oh. All back. Let's see.
Nope, still big push. They're nearly door to door here. Bring us to the white flag. Just by a nose, Lucas Whitehead. Lucas Gortman's got it by just a... Well, nope, that's all changed. Nope, he's got it still.
Boy.
White flag flies.
They are hooked up now and pulling away.
Here we go. Oh, all kinds of movement here. You don't want to get below that yellow line. That's just going to make a mess here. Again, this is it. Nothing can stop this race. Oh, they're wrecking the back, but again,
Yep.
does not affect what's happening up at the front.
I think they'll let this one run out and then throw the yellow as soon as they cross the line.
Yeah, because it's not going to matter here. Checker will fly.
Oh,
a little bit of contact there with a 48.
Lucas Gortman back up front.
He dropped in front, trying to block. Oh, they're wrecking.
Oh.
The 81 goes around. Trying to figure out what's going to happen here. They're wrecking all over the place. Checkered flag flies.
Yeah, I don't. I have no clue what happened there.
We can go back and take a look, but it looks like Lucas Gortman wins his second race here with Austin Wheeler in second and John DeRudris on the podium in third.
Wow.
Trying to follow Austin Wheeler here. on this restart. There's contact. See the 81. So the 48 comes up. The 16 tries to block. There's contact somehow between the 59 and the 81. They get collected. The 99 doors the 59. The
Ooh,
16 comes up.
26 got tapped from behind.
Wow, this is going to be all kinds of conversations here. Yeah. Tyler Leadfield goes through and spins across the finish line.
Well, we told you folks it was going to get racy at the end, and that did not disappoint. There was a lot of bumping, a lot of rubbing his racing, a lot of pushing and shoving. And Lucas Gortman comes out on top in that 16 car.
See the final podium up front there. You got Lucas Corbin, Austin Wheel, and John DeRudris. And stay tuned. We'll have those drivers in for post-race interviews, starting with the 59 of John DeRudris, if we can get him in here.
I don't have anybody showing up yet. Looks like Lucas Gortman's doing his burnout.
Give these guys a chance to kind of catch their breath here. As Lucas celebrates his win. And then let's bring up the results here.
Lucas Gortman crossed that checkered line just slightly in front, 3/100ths of a second in front of Austin Wheeler in second spot, John DeRugeris in third. Clark Franz finishes in fourth spot, Matt Parasini in fifth. Corey Bunch makes his way back up towards the front, finishes sixth. Tyler Lem in seventh. John Ledger in eighth. Lucas Whitehead in all of that melee fell back a little bit and finishes ninth. And Tony Japs rounds out the top 10.
Matt Crockett finishes in 11th, and you have Jordan Wenzel in 12th. 13th is Joe Musso, Eddie Musso in 14th, Jeff Ramsdale in 15th, Richard Mills in 16th, Eric Jeffers in 17th. In 18th, you've got Paul Irvin. 19th is Ron Fitting, and 20th is Christopher Cash.
Bradley Reese in 21st, Vince Burns in 22nd, Michael Whitley 23rd, Garrett Walden in 24th, Max Wheel 25th, Scott Thomas in 26th, 27th is Dakota LaRue, 28th, Robin Maldonado, 29th, Jacob Mossau, and 30th is Austin Walton.
Rounding out the end of the field, Shane Trotter in 31st, Corey Ennis in 32nd, Ty Bostic finishes in 33rd, Josh Douglas 34th, and Dan Hughes finishes in 35th. All right, let's see if we can bring in John DeRudris here into the broadcast booth. I got this. All right, John, welcome. Congratulations on that wild finish and your finish in P3.
That was, I don't even know what to think. I'm still trying to watch the replay and figure out what the heck happened.
Yeah, we've gone back at least once here, and we're still trying to figure it out, but there was definitely a lot of bumping and banging there towards that end.
Yeah, I mean, it was just absolute chaos. I saw a gap down there low on the 81 and decided to take it. And I think the 33 and I both just made contact, and then I stepped, just held in it, and somehow I went across the line sliding in P3. I'll take that. I'll take that for sure.
John, you made your way through the field tonight. You were up towards the front, then you were back in the latter part of the field, and then finally somehow you made it back up to the front again at the end. What was the secret tonight?
So really it was working with my teammate John Ledger, trying to get on the right side of pit strategy. So we decided to go a little bit out of sequence and pit 2 laps later than what everybody else was, because we thought we could basically leapfrog people on pure speed, and it jumped us 8 or 9 positions right there. and then really got that lucky caution at the tail end of that one that just bunched the field back up. We were losing time on the leaders, but yeah, it's no fun being all the way back in like 30th. Let me tell you, that's it's a scary place.
Well, great job tonight.
Thank you.
Any shout outs tonight, John?
Yeah, absolutely. Want to first and foremost shout out the league, iNRS. Want to shout out you all too. Obviously, the IWM Broadcast Network, Rick and Jeff in this one, and then also want to shout out everybody for watching. Gosh, going to list up a laundry list of names: Jesse, Chad, Lindsay, my wife Sophia, my lovely grandfather-in-law, Pops watching, all the way in Missouri. Everybody at ATYL Media, and also running a special livery today on the car. So really special to be up here talking to you guys with the paint scheme I ran on the car. Always do well with this paint scheme, so looking to bring it back. And just want to thank you all up again in the booth.
You got it. All right, that's your third place finisher, John Drugis. And with that, let's bring in Austin Wheeler here into the broadcast booth. All right, Austin, congratulations on your second place finish. Man, that was a wild finish there.
Yeah, that finish was something for sure.
I bet you didn't want to see that last caution, or that caution on what was it, lap 88 or so. I bet you didn't want to see that come out and end that long green flag run.
Yeah, I mean, we were kind of 2 and 2. You know, me and Lucas, and then Lucas Whitehead, and then Lucas Gortman with Jordan Wenzel. I mean, it was going to be a pretty much 2 for 2 working together, trying to get the win between us 4. But it was still not too bad. We saved enough fuel for those green and white checkers there at the end. I just wish we could have raced back to the line instead of getting put in the wall there. But at least I know what we're up against.
Yeah, well, yeah, it certainly comes down to a challenge there towards the end. But congratulations on your second place finish. Any shout outs tonight?
Yeah, I think my team, Lucas Whitehead especially, great pusher, kept me up front most of the night. It was interesting at the beginning with the fuel saving and everything else, and the way the cautions fell. It kind of didn't end up mattering too much, but it was a lot of fun. Thank all the sponsors tonight. Good race. The league put on a good job here tonight, so have fun. We'll go on next week.
There you go. All right, that's your second place finisher, Austin Wheeler. And with that, let me move into the broadcast booth. Your winner, second time winner, Mr. Lucas Gortman. Lucas, congratulations on the win, man. We saw you up front. You're working pretty well with Jordan Wenzel for a while there, but got a little hairy towards those last few laps.
Yeah, you kind of expect it, especially at these super speedway plate type tracks. You know, towards the end, anything can kind of happen. And we knew as long as we're in the front, I had Jordan behind me there for a bit. And I seen on that green white checkered, had the inside cleared up and cleared down, I should say, and took it. And at that point was just hoping to kind of stay up front, was trying to control both lanes. And then coming to the tri-oval, tried to block Austin, wasn't clear. And then we just got stuck together there, and then they just started wrecking all behind us, and was able to save it, cross the line first. But you kind of expect it here at these plate tracks.
Yeah, it's 93 laps of control and then 1 lap of chaos.
Yeah, that's basically it when it comes to it.
Well, congratulations on your second win of the season. This is definitely definitely puts your names up there with 2 flags next to it. Well, congratulations on that. Next week we're going to Texas. How about a mile and a half? Something you up for?
Yeah, so Texas, I hate it in real life, but on iRacing, it's one of my tracks that I really like. I was saying with my teammates, because I had won the Xfinity race yesterday, I was like, I guess I just have to win the Xfinity race to have a chance in Cup, because I won Martinsville, swept that, and then I swept Dega. I mean, I'm going to try it, Texas, but if I don't win Xfinity, it's not looking too likely for Cup.
Well, congratulations.
Great job tonight, Lucas.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I just want to thank, my teammates for working with me all race long. Tyler, Jordan, Jeff, my charter owner, Keith. Like I said, without him, I wouldn't even be in the Cup Series. Everyone out here, you guys for broadcasting. You know, my friends and family all watching. It's fun, and you know, to have 2 wins now, starting to kind of try to build up on those playoff points. It's important.
You got it. Well, congratulations on that, Lucas, and we'll see you next week in Texas.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
You got it. All right, Jeff. I think that kind of wraps up tonight here at Talladega. Some great racing, some wild racing here with these iNRS racers, and really always exciting here at Talladega.
Absolutely. Talladega did not disappoint tonight. Some people get bored when they have those long green flag runs, but boy, I look at that as just letting the anticipation build. Because we kept talking about it. It's going to get feisty at the end, and sure enough, it did. You saw them going through the tri-oval, wrecking and bumping and spinning and everything else. But what a great race! What a great product these guys put on, and some great racing we saw tonight, all the way through the field.
You got it. Well, from us here in the broadcast booth and at the IWM Broadcast Network, we appreciate those of you who stayed with us live and who will watch it later on replay. Thank you again, and we'll see you next week. We'll be at Texas for the iNRS Racing Series next Thursday. So with that, good night, and we'll see you later. Thank you.